Welcome.
Yeah.
Hello everyone. Kshitij. I think I have met few of you guys past back in 1 year, maybe. Uh, I'll start with a basic introduction how basically I started or how my tech journey has been started. Okay, so I started looking into technology since class 6th. Basically, I was residing near IIT BHU campus, and I frequently used to see, IITians around me, building some robots or building some, tech bots and participating in some tech fest and building some, robotic cars. It always to fascinate me that what those guys were doing, how they were doing it. So one fine day when I was going to my school, I asked them that how you guys build this, and the guys were going to participate in Helgam, and they were building some, cars which can be controlled by, uh, I think, a wireless remote. So that's how I just basic introduction to technology, how I could develop stuff, how I can build something. So one fine day, so I just went to a Modex event of tennis. You must be heard of this event. It's an general event which used to happen in annual tech in the annual tech fest of IIT BHU. So I just see there the people solving some local problems by building some local solutions. Few of them some home automation solution and doing something. So I just thought that I could also build something and help people around me. Okay, so that's how all it is started. After that, when I just saw that I could do something, I started tinkering upon ideas and try building some stuffs. Okay, but the basic problem at that moment which I faced was that I was not able to turn my ideas into reality. I mean, I could think of something, okay, I could build something on paper, but wasn't able to make its realistic model. And that was the moment when I got introduction with Cisco Thinkubator. One fine day, I just landed in Thinkubator and saw, a lot of people building something, playing with gadgets, playing with Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and so many things. At that moment, I was not much aware of those technology, how those things function, how we can just do something with that. So I started, tinkering with that devices. I think we all remember that I and Vikram sir has spent few times discussing that I have burnt 3 Raspberry Pis that cost around 9,000, and I burnt those 3 Raspberry Pi in just 1 day, and that was one of the most remembering moment for me when I burnt 3 Raspberry Pi, and people were like, "Hey, here's the fourth one. You can, just do something with it." And that's how I just started building concepts and start turning those ideas into sort of realities. I started building more, but there was a time when I again faced a problem that I need to turn those realities into some business. I mean, the whole concept think better or doing something was is that you could bring some idea, develop the idea, and turn it as a business or as a start. So there I also got a lot of people through my network. I Vish Narayanan or maybe Dvish. But one person who played a very important role in the whole journey was Gaurav. I think Gaurav is also on the call today, and he's my mentor who helped me discuss and develop these concepts into some business model. And I think from past 2 years, I've been in touch with Gaurav and building some stuffs together. Gaurav, are you here today?
Oh, yes, I'm here. Hi, Kshitij, and hi, everyone. Thanks for introducing me. I'm happy to take any call and help you out with this. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure. So Gaurav is also a BHU alum. He passed IIT BHU in 2003 and later went to IIM Bangalore for his MBA. You know, so that's how I started working, and I personally believe that it's very important to have a mentor with you when you are very early when you are very early to any particular stuff. I mean, mentor helps you to understand how you could turn things, how you could develop things, or what are the right. I mean, you could do it on your, but yeah, having a mentor you to do things 10 is better. Okay. So that's how, I did stuff, managed to do stuff again. Yeah, I would also like to put a light on how to onboard your first customer. I would just give a brief about that. I mean, right now I'm even working with Gaurav on the same where we help other startups to do pilot. So basically, the very first problem which we also faced at time of Nirol or StarCaps is that we were, just hustling to get our first customer. Remember always that first customer is always you. I mean, or the one with whom you got inspired to work on that particular product. So it's really not tough to find a first customer. It's always tough. You just need to look into them. So it's just making the conversation stuff where you could talk with the users and start on board. So it's not a difficult task. I mean, I have seen a lot of people stuck in point of development. People used to start building a high end text when they start building their model. I see a lot of guys started building a high tech app. I mean, when I used to interact with some clients, so they were like a full fledged Uber app which I could launch. That's actually not the right way. There are a lot of third party sites, third party tools which you could use to launch your venture the very next day. So that's how I mean I model the stuff for me and for others. So that's a basic journey and basic overline about the idea. Now I think Divyam jump Q&A session, and there we could have a um, a, a bit more light on the same topic.
Okay, yeah. So this was Mr. Sitij Pandey. He is the youngest entrepreneur produced by Cisco's incubator IIT VHU. He was personally praised by the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, in 2015, and is the receiver of the Excellence in Innovation and Award by Cisco. Other than his entrepreneurial career, he is also a TEDx speaker. He is co-founder of his first startup, Nirol, which he founded in 11th grade. After that, he also founded another startup, StarApps. So let's ask him some questions. So, hi Kshitij, I have a question for you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So first of all, how to start a startup? What are the initial steps systematically to launch a startup?
Uh, uh, Basically, how to start a startup. It's something like it's a very generalized way. You need to first define the problem, and the problem should be pretty much visible to you, and you can just simply relate to it. After that, you would simply be brainstorming over the concept that what are the proposed solution or what solution you could propose to them, so that you can start solving that problem quickly. After that, I would suggest you should move to some MVP, or in better words, I could say you could start pilot over that by defining some business model before that, and then you can simply implement these stuff as well as this. Also, putting a light on some getting first customer in this particular segment. It's something like whenever you build a product, you can simply just talk with the person with in which reference you started just started this product. I mean to say is that, let's say I started a sort of when I started, okay, the very first I noticed this problem when I was getting my fuel at BHU station. Okay, so my very first potential customer could be that BHU petrol pump, because I could help him to retrofit a device which could tell the purity to their customer about what all the fuel they are dispensing. Also, I mean, I have very constructive discussion with Gaurav as well on this topic. So Gaurav, if you could put a light over this so that would be pretty much helpful for me.
Okay, Kshitij. Yeah, sure. Thanks. See, when we look for the very first customers, before mentoring Kshitij, I have also mentored a few other students, and I do mentor at least 8 or 9 students every year. I worked in ANZ for 15 years, and my last role was of vice president. Now, coming to the finding of first customers, I would say whenever you are finding your first customers are the people around you, your friends, the one with whom you actually identified the problems, people with whom you tried to test your idea. Those are the people who are your first customers. But it's really not difficult to find your first customer. It's actually difficult to find your second customer, by which I mean the first person out of your potential comfort zone. And that's a difficult task to actually do when you are working on a startup, and that's the defining factor when you really try to scale it. So I would say try to make a list, because when you have done your groundwork to launch your business, you have undoubtedly met some people who could be your potential customers. You should be looking for referrals. Work with your network. It's always important. These days with industries and a lot of media coming into picture, you can always attend many industry events. There you can find your potential customers. You can team up with other business owners, other entrepreneurs who are working on a like-minded idea. You can find your customers from there as well. Now, with the importance of social media, you can build an online presence as well, and then there are customers that can reach you when you are sleeping. Remember, always remember, internet never sleeps. So spread a word on social media, and that's also a way to find new customers. I would say keep your eyes and ears open and try to interact as much as you can with the people who really want to talk about the problem you are solving and not the solution. As long as you are defining a problem which is worth solving, for which is actually impacting a lot of people, finding a new customer or first customer will never be a problem to you. I would say this should be enough to start with. Thank you, Kshitij.
Yeah, Gaurav, I mean, I think I could. That's how a mentor could help you. Yeah, I was just stucking around, and the guy could come up and help you with the same stuff. And in fact, we used to discuss these things. Yeah, Divyam, you could just head to next question.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Gaurav. This was really helpful. So my next question is talking about your startups. Could you just explain your startups briefly?
Yeah, sure.
Kshitij?
My very first
Yeah.
role. Nerol is a ML-based
Yeah.
purity checking device which helps business owners, I mean that fuel pumps, to monitor, fuel dispensing at their different stations from their headquarters. Secondly, it also provides the user to look into that what all quality of fuel they are getting around their local geography. So that's how it functions. It's a basic overview about that. It's stuff in a simple word, fluid purity checker. Specifically, we are using it to check the purity of fuel. That's how used to code it. And my
Okay.
second
Yeah.
startup was startups. So we started with building app for other startups at very low cost. But by the time we tweaked the model, and right now we are helping the startups to do pilot. As we identified that building tech is not important, launching is much more important than just building your technology. If you could launch, you could just simply succeed. I mean, we have seen Dunzo, we have seen a lot of other people that you simply need to start, and that's the point where you succeed actually. So yeah, that's why we just entered into this pilot segment. We simply help people to do their pilot ASAP. I mean, if I'm allowed, I would also like to give a case study. We were right now simply helping a chartered accountant firm to manage their internal governance. They were looking for a full-fledged technology, but we are planning to help them with simple three tools. Those are Slack, Google Drive, and Google Sheet. And you won't believe those guys were sort of much satisfied with those solutions. I mean, uh, I think their problem was completely vanished, and that's how we are helping them. It's a 3-day work, a 3-day exercise where we discuss concepts with them, their problems, and we come up with a innovative solution where we use existing tools to help them to launch their product ASAP. That's from yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I have another question. So it's if anyone wants to start a startup, according to you, which is the most important skill a person should have to start a startup, to make a startup successful?
So basically, it's pretty simple. Pass जो skill है is the most important skill. I mean, every person comes with some particular skills. You may be techie or you may not be techie, but someone will be knowing something about OPEX operations. Someone will be knowing something about sales, or someone will be knowing something about anything. I mean, so every person comes with a skill. It is just needed you should master that skill. That's more than enough. So what is skill you should hire? So I would say hire the complementary skill which you need. Okay. For your work, let's say if I'm a techie, I would hire some marketing or sales guy if needed, or any sort of OPEX guy if needed. But the one thing which is important right here is that you need a bit of knowledge about those all start. A founder is needed to be Harfan Mola. I mean, in English, we used to say you need to become a jack all the things and master of one. It's a bit too big, so you need to become jack of all the things and master of one. That's how it functions.
Can I add something to it for the
Yeah,
benefit of
sure,
students?
sure, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, see, I think technical skills are even underrated and even overrated. Some people think to start something, you need a lot of technology skills. When I say technology skills, I'm not saying understanding technology. I mean, people think you need to understand Java, you should have a command or, Android development or Apple and all that stuff. I would say that's not really, really important. It is important to build something. However, before you even build, even if you go that step, you need to first understand the customer mindset. You need to understand a problem. So I would say the most important skill to start anything is to have a curious mind and a creative mind. If you are not curious about a problem, you will never be able to go deep dive into it. And if you cannot deep dive into a problem, you cannot really understand it. And something which you cannot understand, something which you can never measure, you cannot actually solve it. So have a curious mindset, read, communicate effectively, learn resilience, and yes, learn to manage your cash flow so that you can sell your vision. That is a very important soft skill which most of the chief executives are really built upon. Another skill which is really important is empathy. See, emotions is what drives a human. When we go into a social network, it's all about emotions. When you buy a product for the first time, be it Colgate toothbrush or a Hyundai car or anything, it's all driven by emotions and nothing else. So emotion researchers generally define empathy, to as an ability to sense other people emotions. So if you can sense other people emotions, then that's the best skill you can have. And these are soft skills, but they really drive your company forward, because when people write their missions and vision for a company and define how the company will function or how it will actually move ahead, how will it scale, it's all driven by empathy and curiosity. So these are things which are like physical properties of a person, or the property that you have to start something. All other kind of a chemical properties you can always add. So skills can be taught. The skills like Java, C++, all those things can be taught. But but the soft skills of empathy and curiosity should be there, because that's curiosity is in your brain and empathy is in your heart. And if your heart and brain are fine, they are running nicely, then anything else can be actually learned and can be hired as well. So I would say these are two very important skills when you start something.
Okay. So, Kshitij, how to stay motivated in your entire journey? Like you started your journey pretty early in your life. How did you stay motivated throughout your journey?
I mean, it's all about the consistency. I knew from the very beginning. Whether you are facing the doubt, the only thing which matters at the end of the day that I need to wait and start doing the same thing. So it's the vision needs to drive me, not the results, and that's how I just stay motivated throughout my journey.
Okay, so according to you, consistency is the most important.
See, whether it's a social media, correct? If you are consistent enough to perform the task, you will 100% succeed. Then it's a 100% guaranteed thing, not even 99.9.
So the path to a successful startup is very difficult. It gives very much downs and then comes then up. So how do you know that your idea is right? It will get successful.
See, basically, totally depends upon how you function. Uh, Everyone start with some problem, okay, and problem always available. Okay. And you just need to define whether you are solving the right problem in a right way or not. So that's how you could define your first step whether it's gonna work or not. Secondly, when you will start interacting with your user, you'll start getting feedback. So when you can just develop a feedback mechanism in your startup, you will simply start turning the idea. Every idea is one which can go to a billion-dollar club or even a trillion-dollar club, but it totally depends upon how you could uh, design a feedback mechanism inside startup, how you interact with your user, or how you do it. I mean, at the very beginning, if you have vision, if you have started the stuff, start just stop doubting on the concept whether you will succeed or not. So which I believe. Okay, and to be very frank, I have seen few failures through the time, but one thing in which I lag and I would like Gaurav should add, and it would be really helpful for the participant is how to define that when to stop. There are few times when you are needed that you should stop this startup. I mean, this is not working anymore. So what are the points and how we should define? So I would like Gaurav to add on this point because I'm not aware about this. I'll also learn. So yeah, Gaurav, if you can
Yeah,
add
sure.
something on
See,
this.
yeah, yeah, sure. Thank you. See, first of all, I will tell you, it's not just about starting or ending. It's not about the idea. It's about the problem. Problem defines an idea. Now, if it's a problem worth solving, if you see a few people around you who really think that this is a problem which you can solve, then it's a problem worth solving, which means your idea is valid. However, you need to look at the timing perspective as well. Because let's say YouTube, for an example, it's a successful company now. Like YouTube, before YouTube, there's a saying that there were 17,000 YouTubes before actual YouTube. Now, 17,000 is an insane number, but there were definitely 17 to 18 companies which were launched like YouTube before YouTube, but they did not take off because at that point of time, bandwidth was the biggest issue. Internet was not very prevalent. So even if the idea was good, it never took off because people could not really stream a video. Same way, Airbnb was launched in somewhere in the year 2008. Before that, people never really used to trust to give their house to somebody else. But 2008 was the right timing because Nasdaq has crashed. People didn't have money. People could not go on holidays. If they go somewhere else, they were still paying their rent. So they thought, why not go somewhere and keep, if you go to your hometown, or if you go somewhere for travel, why not give your room for rent? So timing is also very important when you are really working on it. So ideas are not really the thing you should be looking at. You should be looking at the problem and timing. Because if there's a right problem you are solving at a right time, then that's worth it. Because the decisions are never wrong. The outcomes are wrong. So you take a decision, you stick to it, and you take it to you maneuver it to a right path, then probably there are chances the outcomes are huge. But there's one thing which is very, I'm not trying to demotivate. 99% of all startups fail. And the reason they fail is not just that they were bad startups. Something didn't go well. Well, funding didn't go well. Co-founders didn't, really support each other. Problem was not huge enough to be solved. Timing was not correct. So there are certain things that doesn't go well as well, and that's not something which you should be disheartened about. You have to go through a lot of failures to really reach success. Like Ashit said, he would want to get up every morning and be motivated. I would actually say this as well from my experience. A human being cannot just always be motivated. So there will be times when you will lose your motivation, but that's where you have to like, get into a little bit of resilience and things will get back to normal. You have to understand that you are human. You have to understand that you will have a bad day, you will have a bad month, you can even have a bad year, but that's too much to say. And that's where you will need your co-founders, your team to help you and support you. So you will always have a bad day, you will have a bad week, but that's how the people who actually go through it and don't phase away are the one who actually build something. So this is what I would say into these 2 points. Thank you.
So thank you, Gaurav. This also explains how to get a startup idea. So my next question is for Kshitij. What are your future plans after 12th? Like you're in 12th class right now.
I mean, see, right now I'm just working. Currently, I see a good journey right now. So I will be pursuing the startup for at least the coming year, and let's see what happens. So, basic motive is hustle. So I'll hustle. That's what I'm currently thinking of. So not sort of college right now.
Okay, so that's a unique journey. Okay, so
And one thing I want to add, I'm not
yeah,
uh, dropping out because I'm lagging some time. I mean, people used to drop colleges for startup, but that's actually not a good practice because you should always manage times. So you usually drop when the startups need full fledged attention over it. By the time, if you could just mark this thing yourself, you should do it. But there's a time startup requires a full fledged time of yours. So that's the point where you should drop. But yeah, for myself, I'll be exploring the upcoming and we'll see how should I move. And then I'll just simply try to I'll just look into, and if something works well, and if I would like to go to some college, I'll definitely try for something, maybe some Ivy Leagues or maybe some colleges or anything. So that doesn't drive me right now.
okay, yeah, so that's amazing. So while forming a startup, what should be the goal of the founder to be? What should be the final goal of the founder regarding the startup?
To finally solve a particular problem. So let's say you see a customer in front of you or a person who is just facing the problem. By the end of the day, its problem should solve, and that's the ultimate goal from very beginning to very end.
Okay, so the ultimate goal should be solving the problem, not the earning profit.
But money should not drive you. If money will start driving you, will definitely not end up getting a huge success.
Just one thing here. Money is important, right? Money is important to run the finances. Money is important to pay our bills. And I think what Shrit is meant to say, if you are able to solve a problem, which means there were people who are ready to look into that problem as a real problem, which means people would be ready to pay for it, which further means that money will arrive. So if you are able to solve something which entire world thinks should be solvable, then they should be able to pay, they should be ready to pay for it, either directly or indirectly. So you can sell a product which people buy, or you can build a product through which you can make money through ads. As long as you're solving it, whether you are through engagement or through selling, you will be able to make a money. So if your focus is on money, then you will lose focus on solving a problem. So try to focus on solving the problem, so money becomes kind of an enablement factor. It will arrive the moment you start solving it, and that way the money that arrives will be more. So co-founders are responsible for conducting marketing, promotion, and even before the product arrives into market, co-founders need to network. They need to build anticipation for their products to ensure that there is a demand. And when there's a demand, there will be people who will be ready to pay for that demand. So money comes into picture, and that will definitely come to you. Does that answer the question around money?
Yeah. So, Kshitij, you started very early in your age. So, how did you manage all this stuff? What motivated you? What drove you towards the entrepreneurial journey?
See, I'm not aware about the answer of this particular question. What drove me? Though I could say that I had a deep interest in this stuff, and I used to like spend time while working on these things. So I mean, it's my hobby to uh, just do things, to try try solving some problem or building something. It's never felt like to manage time for it or finding time for it. It generally it's in front of me. I used to come after school. I used to sometimes just take a leave from school and used to spend time in incubator or somewhere else or in the market. So that's how I just did it. So I mean, it was not a problem for me to manage those stuff. It went very easy for me. I mean, I have, let's say, 24 hours, and I generally uh, I I'm functioning around 14 hours in my particular day. So I have a lot of time to, manage it. So I could simply manage some time for school, some time for this, and some time for that. So it's a pretty easy thing for me. So I have never, thought of something or solved this problem. I never faced it.
Okay. So speaking of Thinkubators, could you explain your journey with Cisco Thinkubator and how Cisco Thinkubator helped you with your startups?
Yeah, surely, sure. It's the
Yeah.
I think I was just recently got this idea of Neural that how should I solve this impurity problem, fuel impurity problem around my locality. I was just there was a competition in my school called National Children's Science Congress. So I was just looking at the prototype. I was not even aware how should I do. I mean, so I just uh, I looking some centers at BHU that who could help me. So once I just got to NCIIA where I met Farid sir, who was the manager at that time, and he introduced me to Vikram sir, and I simply got the opportunity to just start working on it. By the time when I started, I developed a big, huge model which was around the size of a fuel tank bike. Later on, with the help of peers around the incubator, people working around the incubator, we collaborated. Each of us, each other, developed the product, which was very simple and very small. So that's how it went. My entrepreneurial, I would say, for used to host like web or demo day or so I used to just their network and those are learning session for me. I just got a glimpse of entrepreneurship, how to do. No, I got how to do it. That's how it went.
Okay. So that's amazing. So let's now move on to questions by participants. If anyone wants to ask any question from Kshitij, he can unmute himself. So in the meanwhile, there are some questions in the chat also. Let's move into that.
There, can I ask something?
Yeah.
Kshitij, I want to ask that right now I'm just a newbie to IIT BHU, and I'm very fond of entrepreneurship and startup, these all things. But right now, I don't have any idea or idea to build a startup on that. So what should I do? I should attend all webinars or listen others' ideas, or how will I create my own idea or something like that?
You could simply try look problems around you. There must be few problems around you can look into. I mean, there are say n number of problems. So you just need to look very finely that कि क्या problem आप solve कर सकते हैं उसे कैसे solve कर सकते हैं. It is not like something जिसमें आपको you should just take it from someone. Okay. हाँ, I would definitely suggest you to look into different ideas because uh, once Steve Jobs has said that good ideas are built by stealing, not copying. I mean, this is a controversial fact, but I like to just refine it for your sake that copying is something just taking the idea and simply starting the same, but stealing is something where you add intellectualness, you do some refining or some modification of it. So that's how it functions. I mean, I just yesterday read this quote and I just thought this would be helpful for you. So I would suggest you to go through the ideas. Definitely will help you to understand how people are solving, what all problem they are solving to, so that you could get a better idea. In fact, you could look into ideas and see what they are lagging, and you could just start building on top of that. So that's how you could do. Though I would also like Gaurav to answer this question because Gaurav would be definitely helpful answering this particular stuff.
Sorry, I missed the question. What is the question? Can somebody repeat? Is it like because you are new, how would you attack an idea? How would you find an idea to solve? Is that the question?
Yes, sort of that also, and it is a part of question. If I'm a newbie, I should be searching for an idea or should be enhancing my skills also. Like I should be fully focused to on my skills or fully focused to an idea.
Okay, so you should not ever research on an idea. Never do that because you will never be able to find anything. only thing you will find is the things you will like. So that may not be a problem. See, what I'll say, because you study in IIT and not many people get a chance to study in IIT, come to MCIE, come to Cisco Incubator, go to Hotel Innovation Center, and see what people are solving. And if you can offer something, join them to solve a problem. If you can't offer something, take the problem home and try to see which of them inspires you the most. Like Kshitij said, look around. Like in Varanasi, there are a lot of issues. There's a traffic issues. There are, environmental issues in the world going on. There are people issues with media. There are hundred of issues in the world right now. There are a lot of problems to be solved. Just see which side are you inclined from your head and heart, and that's where you have to solve something. So keep looking around, but first find people who are closer to you, like in a college campus, who are trying to do something. Join them. That doesn't mean you should not have any skills or you should have all the skills. You can join them. Say you are, if you are in, I'm assuming you are in first year. So if you join them, you can then start learning something. If somebody is working on a technical skill, and you don't like technical skill, let's say you don't like doing coding, join them to do a social media engagement. Join them to write a article for them. Join them to do anything you can to market the idea when they will be building it. In that way, you will also understand where your niche lies and where your identity lies, and that's where you have to grow. And then identify a delta which you need to fix over the period of time. For Kshitij and for everyone who's a student over there, you have a lot of time, but that does not mean you should waste it. I mean, you should not be in hurry to solve something. Try to find a problem, help each other, learn from each other. It takes a lot of time to really jot down into something which you would really want to solve. Until then, keep building skills. Read a lot if you like to. I'm not saying read a lot, but read regularly, I would say, so that read different topics regularly, so you can come out of that boredom and get into, don't get faced by the monotonous tasks that you will have to do in future. So look around, help people, ask for help. That's very important. Asking for help, because if you don't ask for help, people would not know that you need help. So I would say don't be shy if you have to solve a problem. So these are the skills you will have to look at. It's basically.
Uh, Hello. Uh, Gaurav, I think your voice is not audible.
Gaurav, I think.
All right. So I said if nothing works, if you are trying to, I said look around and everything, but if nothing else, give us, you can talk to Kshitij, you can talk to people in MCI, you can come to me. This is for everybody. We can help you out to build something and give you a mentorship on how you can approach an idea, how you can find an idea. But you don't have to find an idea. You have to explore a problem so an idea emerges out of it.
Okay. Yeah. So anyone else want to ask any question? So we also have a question from Sayam Jan in the chat box. He wants to ask, can a startup be only formed in tech field because he have a passion of manufacturing?
Startup could be in any segment. I mean, the one जो बंदा मोमो लगाता है, he's also an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, being entrepreneur is not like you need to build Facebook every time. It's just, solving a problem. मैं भूखा हूँ और I need to get something very quickly. जल्दी खाना और मुझे लेना है कहीं के लिए. I could simply go to his place, ask for a plate of momo. He'll uh, he'll just get it to me, and simply, my problem is solved. I will eat it. I'll pay him, and that's it. He'll generate profit. He got a profitable business. He's also an entrepreneur. So entrepreneur is not confined to being a techie or being anything. You could do, entrepreneurship, or you could do business in any segment. Startup is something, is just a word. Okay, it's all always ends up being a business, and that's it. That's how I used to see it. It's all, that's it. Whether it's a dukan or it's Facebook, all work doing it for, sort of all of them were generating revenue at the end of the day, and they're fighting for profitability. So that's how you should go. Yeah, manufacturing is
Yes,
also a good segment to explore in.
do something that you are passionate about. So if you are passionate about manufacturing, do that. Startup is nothing but a way to solve a problem which is in initial stage and that can be scaled, which can become big, which many people can use. So technology is only an enablement through which you can scale because of the popularity and use of internet. So use anything, and every startup is in some field, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's processing, whether it's mining, whether anything else. So technology, if you can use technology, that's the best thing, because then scalability is not a big issue.
Okay, yeah. So there's another question from Anurup Krishna in the chat box. If you have an idea, how do you convince people that your idea is worth working on?
Yeah, let me. I mean, it's also putting your first customer. So see, basically try telling them what you are doing and how it will add values to their life. Okay, so that you should go. You just need to tell them how it could add values to their life. So yeah, that's how you could tell them. And I think if it's in case of customers. By the way, Anirudh, you could simply turn on your chat to explain the question in a better manner. I mean, turn on your mic. It's not said, or even you can write it down. Okay, I think he's this way.
Okay, so I think the question has been answered. So yeah, there's another question. What was your vision for Nirol? For starting Nirol?
Yeah. So to be very frank, when I started Nirol, I was not aware about this term vision. Okay. All at that point of time, I just wanted that people should simply, uh, get pure fuel around them. Okay. So that is what I, simply think of that time. I think the vision, the way I just pivoted to some other startup and taking a hold on the role was just because of this. Was lagging vision at that point of time. That's what I. So to be very frank, not some solid vision at that point of.
Okay. So anyone else want to ask any question? So Kshitij, could you please turn on your camera? And I would like to request Gaurav also to turn camera on for a screenshot. Yeah, thank you. So, anyone else want to ask any question from either Kshitij or Gaurav?
Hello, I have a question. When we are like initially trying to build a startup, so it's obviously a team effort. So how do we go about searching for a co-founder? Because a co-founder plays a very important role in the journey.
Founder need to be someone with you. You must be much familiar, or you must be, love working with. So that's how I look to this.
And what if the people close to me are not really into startups?
And got actually, can you repeat? I lost you in
Uh,
between.
I think I could hear your question. So your first question was, how do I find a co-founder? And second part was, what if people who are closer to me are not really interested or into startups, then what do I do? Is that the right question?
Yes, yes.
Yes, so I would say, first thing, like I said, people who are closer to you. When I say closer to you, see, not always your best friends are your best co-founders. But if your best friends can be your co-founder, then there's nothing better than that. However, like you said, you can find co-founders. The best people, most of the people in the best running companies in the world have found co-founders in their college. So because you spend a lot of time, 3 to 4 years in college, and that's a good amount of time to find a co-founder there. If not, you can always go to networking events. You can always, with the popularity of internet, you can see other people doing the like-minded things. Go to networking events, go to some startup events. There are, kind of incubators and accelerators all around the country now. If required, we can send you a list later, or even in worldwide, like Y Combinator, who help you get a co-founder now. So there are certain networks which are specially for co-founders, to find a co-founder where people can come, kind of share their skills, interact with each other over network for a good amount of time, few months, and see whether they are good enough to, whether they complement each other's skills, and then they find a co-founder. However, this is a very difficult question to answer, and this is a very difficult job to do. Finding a right co-founder can make or break up your company and your venture. So you have to be patient when you do this, and you have to spend a lot of time doing it, because most of the times this thing end up in failure. When I say end up in failure, I'm not saying company's failure. This entire task is always not possible. So that's, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of research and networking if you are not able to find a co-founder in your college. So if you are in school or a college, try to find a co-founder within your area. I'm not saying they should be your best friends. They can be your classmates, they can be your batchmates, they could be somebody in other college. However, if you are out of college already, if you are past your college, then you have to look at a lot of networking events as well. If you're working somewhere already, you can, find time to find a co-founder in your company or some friend's company. And this particular practice normally takes a lot of time and energy. So because this has to be set right, if this is set right, then there are high chances and you will be successful. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Sir, I had another additional question. Like, for example, in my startup, if I have to hire a particular person to do a particular job, so the standard procedure is I can just share a post that I need someone who need to work on this, and maybe attach your resume, and then I will interview a set of people to decide who is like perfectly suited for my job. Now, my question is, when I'm interviewing a person to be a part of my startup, what are the questions I should be asking, or how should I be analyzing a person? Because for some people they might be very knowledgeable, but but later I might find out that they are not dedicated enough to the work. At the same time, some people might be very enthusiastic, but they may not have the enough tech skill, and they might take some time to get hold of things. So how do I like interview people to decide that who should be the one working with me?
I would say interview, when you are interviewing somebody, take time to discuss your problem with them. Explain what you are trying to solve rather than asking questions to them on how much they know. So I would say don't start with directly asking questions from on the tech skills, on the soft skills. Tell them what you are trying to solve. So if a person shows interest in the problem, discusses the problem with you, then that means that person is on a right track. Then go ahead and start asking questions about, tech skills or anything else which for which you are hiring. Having said that, not always you will find a right person for a right role, which means if a person is not motivated even after joining your company, then it may not be person's fault, it could be the company's fault as well. Maybe company is not able to find or provide a right kind of environment for the person to grow. So when anything goes wrong in a company, you as a co-founder should be accountable, and the first person to be blamed should be yourself. Think, what is it you could not do as a team or a leadership that a person is not able to grow, the person is not able to solve the problem. That way, you will show a lot of empathy and provide confidence to everyone. So these things never go right in one way. Every company, starting from Google to anybody, will always find people who may not be the best resources even after doing 5 or 10 rounds of interview. So this there is always a hit and miss. However, if you take the first responsibility of explaining the problem you're solving, then going to the skills which people can learn, then you are more likely to find a better person than in a normal way. Second, when if a person joins your company, have a kind of a training program for them. They should have a good introduction. They should have a good orientation before they start solving a real life problem with you. That way the person will learn and grow, and then it would be a good family like feeling for working with you, rather than working with you only for some people come and say, okay, we'll join for some time and leave. So it's all about how you treat people, and then the treatment you get back. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you so
it's
much.
about explaining them what you are working on. If they show interest, then they are the people to be interviewed further. Otherwise, there is no point wasting, right? It should be a win-win situation. So it cannot be heads you win, tails they lose. It should be heads you both win, tails you both lose. So if they lose, you lose. If you lose, they lose. If that's the mindset, then you will always find right people around you.
Sir, I think my questions are answered. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. So Kshitij, as for any startup, the first step is to know the problem, to understand the problem. So how do you ensure that you have understood the problem correctly? Or do you start working on it and then learn while you work on it, the problem?
Problem, if you have identified the problem, then problem must be affect you or people around you very early. I mean, you could simply look that. See, in my case, when I was working for Nirol, I have seen that problem. I mean, I'm telling you a case when my father was dropping me off for school, and we were having a we just got our bike told on this morning, and then he was arriving to pick, and we were just venting back to home. My bike was a fuel. That moment, we have to just take the bike to fuel pump, and drive the bike on the way. So that was the turning point for me, and I could simply find out that my bike was good. I mean, there's some few things happen in the series where we were to mechanic, and they told engine was having some problem, and then again the same thing happened after a few months. We found that this is because of impure fuel. So I got affected by that problem, or my father got affected by that problem. So I could simply believe that we are getting fuel impure, and that's it. It's a pretty simple way to see what's the problem. I mean, it's something not like where you have to particularly understand it. You just need to define it. And if God wants to add something on it, yeah, surely, if you could add in.
Oh
Uh,
no, there's not much to add. I would say just define the problem. You don't have to get it right in the first attempt. So if you look at when we it's a simple example. When we read or study something in school, which our teacher teaches, then those are the normal problems. That's like Newton laws or laws of magnetism. We read those things and then we answer the questions. So that's not what co-founders do. They are people like Newton, right? People who actually found the problem. So they never found a problem in the first go. People, did a lot of trial and error. They tried a lot of time to define something. They failed. They failed a lot, but with every failure, they learned. So you don't have to get it right the first time, but I would say it's okay to fail. Remember this, it's always okay to fail. It's always okay to get disheartened. It's always okay to get angry. It's always okay to get disappointed. It's always okay to, break apart your startup. There should be a right time and you should understand that this is the time we should stop and move on. So it's always okay if you are not able to get it right in the first time, because most of the times you will not get it right in the first time. You take the learning and then redefine the problem and then move forward. So there's no way that there are ways. If you are lucky enough, you have worked really hard, if everything falls as per plan, if God is with you, then you can do anything you want. or you intend to. However, you will never, it's not always possible to get it right the first time. So keep experimenting, keep trying to solve, keep networking, and you will get it right eventually. So that's what I want to say here.
Okay, so I assume this answers the question by Amanja very well. So anyone else want to ask anything? Okay, so I would request everyone from Cisco Incubator to turn on their camera so that we can take a combined screenshot with Kshitij and Gaurav. So yeah, thank you, Kshitij and Gaurav. This was a really wonderful webinar. I'm sure everyone must have learned a lot from this webinar.
Thank you so much, and hosting this awesome webinar and giving me an opportunity to share the what's with the fellow guys.
All right, thank you.
So,
Thanks for talking to the students in my alma mater after a long time.
yeah, thank you very much, Gaurav and Kshitij. So I think we can conclude this webinar now.
Yep, bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.